is, let's see, I need to go over to my widgets. Because that's just a widget area. Most things are on the front page, it's all widgets now. Okay, so I'm going to go over to, let's see, where do I want to do? Oh, that's feature 1. So there's just my regular recent post, just the regular. This is just that, just pulled over from the options over here that are in all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out. Okay, so I'm going to just drop that in there. This is the one that I customized. And put that, where would I have it? Feature 1, right? Okay, that's good. And so this is the short code. So there's the others cat listing. Oh, it's a little different. I might have the other one. But the category is happening. Sorry. My screen's a little different when it's on the presentation mode. Mine looks a little different because I have a display widget plug in there, so it looks a little different. The controls like what pages are what.
I'll go out there and tell them to be quiet. They're interrupting you. Please do.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let me just refresh that. So now you see, the main thing is, it's not going to, okay. You see 3? Or you mean, sorry, 3. You see 5. You see 5? And then now, let's see if this works. There. These are my happenings. So now I see 2. Now I don't have very much in this blog, on the site, so there's not that many showing up. But these are my latest happening news showing up now. So that's what that does. So what basically that is going through the loop, using the WP query, dropping in a plugin, and pulling out the shortcode. And I can post that somewhere. I don't know, Get or something.
Post it in recent happenings.
I can post it. Oh yeah, because you know what? I'll do that. You know, actually, I have a dev section, and I'll post it in the dev section.
Yeah, and then post a link on the group.
What?
And then post a link in the group.
Okay, excellent. I'll do that. All right. And that's any questions? No questions.
Why did you create it? Was there not any widget that existed, so you found something?
I made the widget.
No, but I mean, did you make it because nothing else existed?
No, because she can.
Well,
I made it. Honestly, I want to go further with it. That's just my first step.
Cool.
Yeah. So now I want to go in more into like custom posts. I want to like pull certain items. So I'm going to take it further. That's my first. I have to start. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. I guess I could take this off here.
All right. Jason's not ready yet.
Yeah. It's very bad, right? Like it's very bad. With the lookup.
I knew you wanted some lookup.
You wanted some lookup.
So I got to do some lookup. I need to get you that.
What is that doing over there? Oh, did you well?
What's that? Thank you. I'm very proud of myself. Enough with that. So I wanted to talk about something that I've been wrestling with on a project. I'm not going to mention any client names during this presentation. If it happens to pull up on the screen, hopefully it won't end up on video. So
it will.
This particular client wanted custom RSS feeds. So specifically, we've got 4 or 5 custom post types on the site. Categories that spread all throughout those custom post types, and some some specific taxonomies that go with some of those post types. And they wanted custom RSS feeds to specifically go across the multiple custom post types, but also be able to pull out specific categories. So if you've worked with RSS feeds in the past, then you'll know that, let me just put some dummy content in here. So I've got a brand new site. What's that?
Oh, that's the
What is that?
Yeah,
What's that plugin with the dummy content? WP dummy content?
Example content.
Maybe, I think that's all.
Yeah, cupcake, get some.
I like Samuel L.
Jackson.
Yeah, and yet you're not using it because you are
Lame?
fail seed.
When they put this on WordPress TV, are you gonna feel bad that the entire audience is yelling fails?
I'm not gonna feel
anything at all.
No. I don't have feelings.
It's something you don't have feelings, you just know you can ban safe from coming back here ever again.
All right, I've got some dummy content. I didn't hear what Lauren just said, so it doesn't really matter. So one of the plugins that I mention a lot that I use for custom post types is custom post type UI. So I will install that as well. You've heard me mention this before. So custom post type UI is
Marco's favorite. It shows up a lot faster.
Anyway, custom post type UI is what I use for creating custom post types. And I like this because it's got a really simple GUI interface for creating CPTs. So I used to do all this stuff by hand. I don't write any of this code by hand anymore. Same thing with ACF. I don't write any meta fields by hand anymore. Meta boxes. I do all that through ACF. So if I want a custom post type, let's create one called videos. So my custom post type, there's my new tab for videos. Okay, so that's how easy it is to do custom post types with custom post type UI. Okay, so if you know anything about RSS feeds by default will only search within the post tab. It's not going to search within my new custom post type. Okay, and I don't believe there's a built-in way, an RSS query to make that work. So if you want, so let's go to. So here's my standard RSS feed, which is at, oops. I did not set up HD access. We'll do that now. I blame Stephen Carroll, actually. Oh, is he? Oh, he's here. All right, so there's my default feed. So I'm just at Zehngut.dev/feed, and that's just a default dump of the 10 most recent posts. Okay, so whatever your standard query is inside of your reading settings, that's what's going to dump into your RSS feed. So if we look and add, or if we go in and add a video here, so let's say test video, just to make it interesting. I will grab the latest water cooler video.
Get one that has say starting with a weird face.
Oh, like we all
Take your pick.
So ridiculous.
I read the internet.
You are so mean. So mean.
That's the one I like, right there with the doll.
No, I like the one up into the right, the corner top right.
This one?
Yeah.
I like the doll. All right.
I cleaned up my background now that I'm learning. Oh! There's for excitement purposes. Okay. For real.
So there is my video post. I've got a video. I've got a video custom post type. I'm looking at a video post. I just plugged in a YouTube video. Okay, I called it test video, but if I look in my feed, the first item in my feed is multiple paragraph posts. Video does not get pulled in by default.
Yep.
So that's why I needed to create this custom feed for this client, because they wanted the feed to go across multiple custom post types. Okay?
Were you including the standard posts as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how I did it.
So you're aggregating everything?
I'm going to show you how I did it.
How'd you do it, Steve?
I don't remember.
Can you
Absolutely.
do it? Can you show us?
It's taking so long.
Anybody else?
Show us faster.
All right. So I found a function that I actually didn't previously know about called add feed. So this is what starts it all. Why are you laughing at me?
No reason.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to create a child theme here in a second, and I'm going to throw this into a functions doc, but add feed is where this all starts. Okay? So it's actually it's pretty well built into to WordPress. This functionality. I mean, the add feed functionality is in there, but it's really pretty short to do what I'm about to do. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. So let me grab some of this code.
Wait, where are you? You're in the functions PHP?
I'm in a different one. I'm going to create a new one now.
He does have a big screen now, so.
We're giggling about your quickness.
Yeah.
Extrapolate from that.
Yeah. Enough out of you.
It was boring.
Blame it on me. Everybody else does. Today's Monday. My fault. How long have you had to?
I'm scared because I'm like, if I drink it, I'll stay up. I know it's really good. I'll be
No,
up
but
for
seriously, when
like
did I give you that long?
Feel free to talk amongst yourself.
What? Oh, okay, there you go.
You knew you were presenting this topic, right?
Like we need
I thought it was a break. I thought it was...
All right. So wow. Anybody else?
Where's the love?
All right. I have my child theme set up. I'm going to set up a functions document within this theme so we can see this working.
It was a fast child theme setup.
It was a very fast child theme setup.
I'm impressed.
If anybody is curious about what I just did, all I did was just copied out the 2012 child theme settings right off the codex. That's all I did. That's how I'm working so fast. I know.
But you still like set up your folders, like
Okay, do you put it in
uncapitalize it.
Nope. That's what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, that might help.
Thank you.
I think it was.
All right. Did I really name it PCSS?
No.
Thank you. All right. There's my child theme ready to go. I'm going to create a functions document within that theme. And I put everything within an initial setup function. You don't necessarily have to. For speed purposes, I'm just going to copy one of these functions. So we'll stick an add feed call in there. Let me blow up the font a little bit so we can see this. So once I have this feed in here, so let's call this custom feed. We'll just call it Steve feed. Once you have this feed in here, it works like a filter or an action, is essentially how it works. So it's going to call that function called Steve feed when this feed called Steve is triggered. Okay? Just like the water cooler, right? So the feed itself is going to be called /Steve. So the permalink is going to be whatever my URL is /Steve. That's the first part, and then that function Steve_feed is going to be called when that feed gets triggered.
So the actual URL would be
/Steve.
Or so that's where you can make it anything you want. You can have
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, so the first parameter is the part of the URL?
That is the URL. We're going to see it. We're going to see the magic. The rubber will meet the road here in a second.
Okay.
So that first part of that feed is the URL.
So that's why you didn't use the word video in there right now.
That's correct, because video is already reserved for my custom post type.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay?
Steve, can I ask you one more question?
No. Go ahead.
If you would have tagged your videos, if they were custom post types, and you tagged them with the tag that was used on other stuff, would it have shown up via tag basis?
Tags, you're asking if tags go across custom post types?
Yeah.
In a feed? I don't believe so. We'll test it in a minute.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
I've never thought of it.
My understanding is if you put the slash feed up into the tags, even if it's in the custom post type or not, it'll pull
Okay.
a feed for those particular tags or.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, to the truck.
But
We'll give it a shot in a second here.
So that's just out of the box. It's interesting.
So I set up about 30 feeds for this client. So I wrote a function that I use over and over here called make custom feed, and all I'm doing there is just throwing in some parameters and then changing out the categories that I want. Okay. In this case, I'm going to throw in the custom post types that I have. So I want to search across post and video. So Chris, this answers your question. So like Elizabeth was doing here, I'm hijacking the query. So when I call make custom feed, I'm gonna plug in my own arguments for the query, requery, and then include the RSS PHP from core WordPress.
yeah.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So if I just wanted to do make custom feed, we're not going to throw in any tags. I'll throw that in there. Okay? There's one caveat to this. This won't work until you flush your rewrite rules. Okay? So just because I put this in, you may hit a bug if right now if I go to zehngut.dev/Steve, it's going to show me a 404 error. Okay? Actually, we'll try it. So yes, so I've got a 404 page. The way to flush your rewrite rules is either call the script or just go back in and resave your permalink structure. Okay, so I'm not changing anything inside my permalink structure, but if I hit save changes, that's going to flush out my rewrite rules, and it'll now take in /Steve. So if I go back here and reload, I now got the feed. So you got to keep that in mind if you're playing with anything that has to do with feeds or rewrite rules or anything. You've always got to go in and flush them just once to basically refresh them. That's true if you change custom post types. You've got to get in the habit of that. So that if you're seeing some 404 errors, that's probably why when you're playing with this. Okay. So now that I've searched across video and posts, you can see my first title here is test video. So now I'm getting that content from that custom post type. Okay?
Can you do what you're doing the opposite way and make the /feed include all the custom post types?
Say it again?
You made a new feed URL, but how about just make the /feed include the custom post types?
I'm sure I could hijack that just the same. I don't know the filter offhand, but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The reason I did it this way is I actually want to get a little bit more granular here. So let's do a category and post types in one query. Okay, and that's why I wrote this make custom feed here as a separate thing, so I could plug in categories and make multiple feeds off of that one call. All right, so let's make up some categories here. I'll just call it test 1. That's fine. Inside of video, I've got no categories and tags right now. I very quickly set up a custom post type. So to get those in, I'm going to go back to manage my post types. We'll go to edit. And then under advanced options is where you can basically tell it that you want these taxonomies there. Okay, so that's what was missing. So categories and tags aren't checked off by default. All right? So I'm going to give it categories and tags. Excuse me, when I go back to videos, now I have categories and tags under that. If I had a custom taxonomy, it would add it there, but categories and tags are shared between both posts and video. Okay? So we'll go ahead and add a category here. What do we call it? Test 1?
Yeah.
And we will give this that test 1 category. one, there we go.
Do you
So
have
now
to
if I go back
again?
No. Once the
Yeah, I didn't change Steve.
I didn't change the URL. So once the rewrite rule is in place, all the new functionality is going to get sucked in. So now if I refresh it, oh, I've done something wrong. Oh. Okay, so I'm sorry, I wasn't taking categories here. So now, what I'm saying here is if this category array exists, then plug in this part of the query. So I'm looking for a categories and. So this way I can plug in multiple categories to do a really granular query across my feed. So let me go and refresh this now. And it's still not working. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh.
Because it's looking for get cat ID.
Is that a plugin?
No, that should be fine. Oh.
You don't have to activate it.
Thank you. Nope, I didn't have the right function call there.
Oh.
I undid too much. Still not working. Well, I'm close. I'll figure this out. We'll go on to somebody else. I'll figure this out when we get back. What's that?
Is it the double underscore, the category again? Or no,
Yeah, it's a double underscore there. So let me figure this out. I'll turn it over to either Brandon or Jason, and we'll come back and I'll find out. I'll debug it while one of them's talking. So, any questions on this before I figure this out?
Can you do a quick test? Can you put a tag to a post and a video and go to your normal RSS feed?
Sure.
And see if it pulls it or not?
Sure.
You're in a category here.
You want a tag?
Yeah. Just because I know you're doing the filtering on the categories, I'm wondering about the tags.
Okay. And the feed, it goes feed and tag equals Chris. So, yeah, that's right.
We don't see anything on your screen.
Oh, I'm seeing it here.
It says Wi-Fi signal up at the top.
Is it category
There we go.
sensitive?
So I've got the tag Chris, but it's only pulling in the post.
So, okay.
It did not query the tag across.
So the default
custom post
locks it
type.
down post and doesn't
Yeah.
cross. That's good to know. Wow.
I bet you could totally do it.
Well, no, totally, but I would have miscommunicated to others like, oh, just put it in the tag and then fine. It would have been wrong. So
You've tried.
Each category and tag does have an RSS feed associated with it. Just
yes, but not one that does the unification that he's doing now.
Oh,
So
right,
you need,
right.
and basically, I'm just proving you need his code to do what you want to
It feels nice to be needed.
do. Very. If you could get it to work, you could really.
Hey, I never promised that.
Is it working now?
It definitely was. There we go.
Boom.
So, all right. So that is. So what I've done, I just combined all the functions in one. So I have post type equals post and video, category and equals test one. So all of that's being taken in before it spits out the RSS feed, and that one did work.
That's
so
great.
So that's Zehngut.dev/Steve, which is my custom feed, and it's only pulling in that one thing that we categorized as test 1. So if I go back in and categorize one of the posts as test 1, and refresh the feed, now we've got that headers post in there. So that's working.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I was looking for something along these lines. I did a Google search. I didn't find it on the first pass. I played with my Google terms a little bit, and it just ran across this function I had never seen, and played with it for about a half an hour and got it working, and wrote 30 feeds in about an hour and a half. So.
That's great.
And charge $1 million.
Absolutely. No, it's $1 million.
$1 million.
So there you go. Questions? I'll put this code on the Facebook group if anybody wants it.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
pretty handy.
Yeah, it's really. I found this to be really handy. I mean, all that in just a few short lines of code. So, if I didn't really get into this, but all I'm doing here is just including the default RSS2 feed from the WordPress core. So once I plug in the query, I'm calling the feed, and then this probably is overkill. I don't absolutely need this line because it's just one feed page, but I'm in the habit of always resetting my query back. If you don't know what this does, if you're calling multiple query posts within a theme and within widgets, it's a good practice to put that at the end so you sort of give control back over to the loop. That's what that reset query does.
And the one time you use can be when you forget to do it.
Absolutely. This will drive you nuts if you forget this. So I'm just in the habit of doing that. Yeah. Anyway, any questions?
Looks solid.
All right. Thank you. Lights?
I can hear them.
You want my computer?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll open the paradox if I don't.
Okay.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Don't touch me there.
What?
Hey.
Guys.
Jason Tucker.
Hello.
I like it. No, but not my presentation. I'm talking
Wait a minute.
about yeah, my presentation was pretty late.
It wasn't though. It was great. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Fucking stellar.
I like to validate.
That's why you're gonna validate your data.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you how to use AFC, Advanced Custom Fields, ACF, yeah. How to use ACF to control advertising on your site.
No.
So for instance, here on the site, I have this particular ad right here, and if I scroll down some more,
Need a little space after that ad. Say said it first, I was saying it loud.
I didn't say it out loud.
whatever.
Are you using AdSense?
No.
Oh, well then.
And the reason why I'm not using AdSanity is because all of these are Google ads. So if like my authors were actually writing and putting their own ads in there, then using something like AdSanity would work good. So I have another ad that's right here. If the content was longer, I have a third ad in the middle here. And what I'm going to do is kind of give you an overview of how this would work.
Oh, is this your coolness function of when a certain author writes a post and they insert their own ad code?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Did you
I'm done, thank you.
Google approved that finally?
That particular person?
No, you were having trouble with Google.
Well, I'll get into that in a minute.
Oh.
So, the way I went and set this up is we have. I'm gonna get a lot of traffic over there. So, what I wanted to show you is the way that I'm using advanced custom fields, and then the way that I'm using another plugin called Ad Injection to kind of tie those two pieces together. So that way, my authors just write content, and the ads just automatically show up, and I dictate where those ads are going to show up in their posts. So first of all, let's go take a look at advanced custom fields. And what I did is I set up this thing called an author block. And what it is just a rectangular, Google ad that's going to show up there like I was showing you before. And what I did is I set this location down here to be the user's edit screen. Right here. And then I can specify like which ones I want to have, but everybody who's on the site also writes for the site, so I just kept it as that. Now if I go over to the users, we could take a look at one of their profiles. And you can see down, oh, where's it at? Here it goes. So I have this add author block right here. Here's my Google ad. So my ad code is in here. And it's dictated, the reason why I did this is so that way my authors can actually put their own ads, their own ad codes in here, and I don't have to worry about it. It's all hands off.
Does it default to your ad if they don't have an ad?
So the next part, thank you, Say.
Let me segue that for you.
Good segue.
So what I have here is, I call these house ads. And what these are is essentially my partner, my brother, and we have our own ads listed in here. And I have some logic set up so that way we're getting a 50-50 split on ads between him and I. Now if I go over to the, let's see here, where's it at? Ad injection. All the magic really happens in ad injection. The stuff that's happening in advanced custom fields is literally just, fill these fields in with content, which is going to be an ad code, and then display it someplace. And the display it someplace is taken care of within ad injection. Now, ad injection is pretty neat. If you've never used it before, it's really cool. Like this entire block right here controls where ads are going to be displayed. So you can have it show up on the top, you could have it show up as a random spot somewhere within there, and you can also have it show up on the bottom. You have footers, widgets, all those sorts of things as well. Now if we scroll down some, you can see I can set up the very, very specific way in which I want these ad placements to work. So you can set up rules stating like how many words are you going to have. It needs to have at least 400 words max, or maximum 400, 400 words or shorter to display something. And then how many paragraphs I'm going to have it displayed in. And it'd take me all day to sit here and explain how this part works. Essentially, you set up the criteria, it follows that rule set. Now if I scroll down here, what I have is I have these advertisements set up. So I have one that's for the top, one that's for the random, which is in the middle, down here on the bottom, and then I have bottom, which is down here. And you can see that the ad code's set up so that it's actually pulling in using get author meta their ID, and it's passing that in so that I can get using the field function within advanced custom fields, that it will pull that in. So kind of packing these two pieces together, I'm using advanced custom fields, and I'm pulling in the information from the author's metadata and pulling in what his ad is.
Jason, am I correct in assuming that you can use this to put anything in those spaces?
Sure.
So you could drop in a sign-up form or announcement, post type, or anything else.
Yeah, I was thinking of even doing it so I could have like RSS feeds from that particular author's sites, collection of sites, and then use advanced custom fields to figure out which ones are going to be displayed, pass over that ID, which is the current author for that post's ID, and then display them.
Yeah.
So you can do some really cool stuff with it. So if we go back in here and click on this ad rotation, the ad rotation part is what kind of controls how things are going to be displayed. So I'll move it down here so you don't have to look very high. So we have my brother Brandon over here on the side. His house ad will show up 50% of the time. On the second part, Jason's ad will show up 50% of the time. The way I have this set up is I want the house to make money. And the way the house is going to make money is by displaying, between either my ads or my brother's ads. Now if I scroll down a little bit, we have some of the other ones. So this one, for instance, the random ad in the middle is only going to display the ad for the author. And then down here on the bottom, we have another 50-50 split as well. Now for a while I had it set up, I had some additional code in here that was doing what Say was talking about, where if the author didn't have something in there, it would display our ads versus the author's ads. I had some problems with that where probably just something in my logic that wasn't working out right. But for the most part, you could just pull in that information from the options page that I had there, and then display it if it doesn't exist. Let's see here. What else was there I was going to show you with this? I had to do.
So are you saying in this case, for each article, the top and the bottom are you and your brothers, and the middle one is the author?
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're creating a new author, that author would most likely have their own advertising block, because they want to be able to make money off of their article. But if they don't, currently it won't display it. But if I had the correct configuration set up, it would display mine. One other piece to this was that since I don't have my own computer here, I'm going to have to edit cowboy coding style here.
Awesome.
Watch out. Watch out.
How does it know what a top and bottom is? Do you actually put it on the screen?
Oh, top and bottom it's using the hooks for the top portion of the content and the bottom portion of the content.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just hooks into those and then puts it in there. And then in the middle, it's counting how many words, how many characters, how many paragraphs, whatever it is you want to use for that setup, and then it'll pop that ad right in the middle there. If you haven't used it, it's pretty neat. Let's see here.
What are you looking at do now?
I had one ad.
Destroy your whole site.
Yeah, but like, please don't do that.
Just delete the name of the
Are you doing it on Gadget?
Yeah. Here's the logic that I was talking about.
Just delete it, dude.
Don't do it.
There's the logic I was talking about. So mainly what it is if the author doesn't have an ad in there, then display ours, and if not, then actually this is my ad. These are short codes. That's right. We had some short codes that we needed to set up to display them too. I think that's about it. Do you guys have any questions regarding how this would work, or maybe some other scenarios that you'd use it for?
No warning.
No?
That's good. Better without warning. Just rip it off.
Pizza's here.
So right in the middle.
Pizza's out in the hall. I'll find some paper towels and places.
You put the functions in here. It's not the bait. Are you? Some timeout plugins. Our non-responsive data today is as which is the best ad, they're trying to ad, the best ad product for WordPress. And it's a plugin, and everything the plugin works. It still works. And at some point, the guys, it's made by our friends Pixar, at some point, you guys Pixar makes
Wow, that's exciting.
That doesn't do it. That's handy. It doesn't tie into the
No, why would I want to do something that's John Brown's he's like, no, I work on websites where the website owner wants there's never been a request. Yeah, there's never been a request from an owner to be like, I'd like to share your copy with my coworkers. Well, I'm bringing a client revenue. It's like, can you imagine like a private site? You're like, hey, when you have a right to guest post, would you like to take all the ads and send the revenue their way? And be like, so far, I don't know that right. If you even suggest it, they're like, and now you're fired. Yeah, why would I do that?
I'm scaring myself. How come I don't hear it?
What?
I don't really know what you're trying to say.
Never mind.
No, we need a quotes tab up there.
We should have a live quotes tab. That would be a post format.
That's what she said tab.
Not that I know anything about post format.
You don't.
Don't listen to a word I say. My screen
People
goes.
eventually watch the show and then they're like, I better go buy something right now.
People. Did you watch? Did you like it?
I do.
Did you test it? See? You didn't watch it.
In the middle of the day.
Not yet. You have to watch this shit.
At some point.
I love it. I can tell when there's people watching it because I get new Twitter followers. It's hilarious. And they're all like WordPress.
I was gonna say that if you still like not following.
No.
She's like, I can tell when people are watching, my Twitter account goes down. They're like, okay,
No, you're too fast. Turns out a lot of these videos are weird. I'm like,
That's indeed.
look, I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just saying it is. Do you post standing up, Steve? It's really odd. You look like
Yeah, no, I was.
Right.
The only one who was standing up here is Jada.
That's true.
One of those ones where you like, just get it all done, put a bow on it. Are you doing something other than Saturday?
And I don't think there's money on black. I know. Like, hey, because like I don't really go to
Here we have commission. Commissions can split out, but the way you have to do it.
No, I like
And I want to do it so. Create a product. It's automatic. And right now, when market price does it, you guys do some crazy things to make it all happen. And he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I manage engineers. Yeah, it's not. It's so not. I'm like, what? Because I have a problem, but
every time I get technical,
he goes around to nonprofits. He goes to like church conferences. Personally, say $5,000. Right? And he's like, no,
right? So
you need to do both. And all he wants to do is create this little store. And it's like, look, I just want every little platform any church to use, and then he has to use. Just put there. And people are like, oh, give me 50%. And it's tiny sales, right? It's like a dollar sale or whatever. But he's like, but I go to conferences like 5,000 a time, right? And right now he's speaking. And then this site, that's like a wall. This is like selling thing, right? And I'm like, it's really close because I did the whole thing first off the market. This is kind of crap. And this wasn't really. I'm like, I need to use clip-ins, but I need this other stuff. We're doing it. He's like, oh, we're doing it. I'm like, I'm not touching this. Wait. There's still like 2 months. I'm like,
which you like?
but yeah, if you have a guy who is in front of audiences all the time, he's making things happen. Well, he's just doing it, right? We don't have to
That's why you hang out with me every Monday.
I didn't get to watch that, I'm sorry.
What the
I mean, friends. You should like say like that and watch that. I'm like, oh yeah.
Or have them work on paying stuff.
Well, you go have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy talk.
And,
I'm excited about it.
I'm going this.
right, and it's on automated.
Places that are
it's
not-
crazy. And,
Are you going
He's like,
you know what, you gotta pay to get into the system.
Are you
Why
doing
not?
yeah, you got
I'm
me,
gonna
you
sign
got
it.
me.
You're like, bye.
And then you gotta buy it.
Yeah. You find that down later next
Yeah,
year.
I mean, I know guys like that.
Like, someone can-
The problem is with guys like that, who do it well,
Yeah.
So
they
they'll-
end
they'll
up
work on it all.
they make more money teaching people how to do it than that, right? And I end up finding that,
And then
Here's the
I
thing, you
end
go over
up
to
hearing
the
on
back
it.
like, hey,
You took the class.
even though my
I'm like,
ex-boyfriend
you're not
was-
close enough. So this will not work for you, right?
Sunday
In fact,
night.
I'm working on a post. Whenever we give advice,
Are
right?
you
The
gonna
problem
do
is if you put too much of you into the advice, it doesn't apply for anyone else, right? Because they're like, yeah, I can't do it. I get nervous. You're like, yeah, you shouldn't do this model.
Good, they have Wi-Fi.
Like,
That would be so cool.
I don't know, just like that actually really like it.
Can I save that?
You just have that, and like,
Sure.
but that's what I have, you know, you run into the thing.
It's like,
Are you ready?
Pick up.
But then like, just moving on, I'm just like, all right. We should do that, 'cause it's like, wow.
Yeah, like, don't go there.
So yeah, we're gonna
Because you're interacting
do,
with
Fred and I
people
did
all day long.
your
It's like, I have a buddy of mine who's selling his startup,
Yeah, I see how
right?
that
And I've
works.
been coaching for 2 years, and every time we talk about his company, he's just like, well, I have clients that, I'm like, stop. You live in Palo Alto, and you hang out with Stanford people.
Yeah.
You cannot take that as the default for your audience,
Yeah.
right? He's like,
Was it like a
yeah,
special
it didn't really uptick like I thought it would. And I'm like, yeah, because you were selling to someone in Arizona. And in Arizona, they don't think like they do when they're like, I work at Facebook, I graduated from Stanford, and I'm like,
I didn't.
Look,
Yeah, why'd you have to do that?
look at this shit.
What's up with the third degree?
what did you
It
do?
doesn't make any logical sense to me.
So this is
Stop
a word
thinking like
that
Conan.
Hi.
Okay.
Can I take the brain check on that one too?
Whatever. It's, Tabby, it's your world, we'll just pass it later.
A lot of brain check.
Don't listen to a word that's
Tell
said.
me to stop acting like a coder.
Hey. Let's see. Title. Location. Title. Location. Sorry, I'm setting up some custom fields. I don't actually believe in that whole ACF thing. Have you looked at the database? Do you know what it does to the database?
Wonders.
No, not wonders. It's crazy madness. It's not straight data.
I know, it has some tables.
It doesn't add tables. Have you looked at the database of ACF? That's not a table. That's adding code into table to create madness.
It does a SQL injection.
Why did that make you giggle?
Because it's a word injection.
I really like that word.
It's a funny word.
It is a funny word. The SQL injection is messy.
That's what she said.
Yep. And it's not straight data. You can't then do stuff with your data. How do you export that?
You have to put your ACS with that.
No, you can your code, but not the data.
We just talked about this. Like literally 6 hours ago.
So you'd be like,
He
you
was
can't
trying to
export your
sell it
data,
and said
which is
no.
the entire point of the database, in my opinion. One of the entire points is to be able to export your data cleanly.
You know what? You can write a
You don't touch
plugin.
databases anymore.
You can write a plugin that exports.
You're so
No,
hands-off.
and it is a restriction. That's true. The database is touching me.
Yeah, they do.
Inappropriately.
Inappropriately.
I'm touching you today.
You're punchy every day, and I bring it up.
I'm still nauseous from the migraine this morning. I don't know, I woke up and I just literally, when I got on the alarm for it, I really just roared like that.
Oh, but you were here though. Oh, you were home still? You're like, alright. Oh. You were fine. You performed well.
I just couldn't say the word football.
You're like, oh.
They fall into a pitfall. Wait, that doesn't make sense. So let me go back and do that again.
And there's falling into the words from our
Okay, cut.
and edit.
Like at what point in our lives do we become afraid of saying people on the toilet?
At all of them.
What? I just came to the conversation at
You
that
know what?
moment.
That was it. So you interpreted how you it's a simple
You
question.
shouldn't miss anything.
What's the question?
Usually that's when I walk into the conversation with my employees. I usually walk in the room and they just said
What are you
something,
saying?
and it's always out of context.
This time it wasn't.
Yeah.
This time that was just what it was.
All right.
Don't listen to a word they say, man. I don't know how to structure this title. I don't want to say something. It's on my list. I was going to do it. I don't know how to do that. I think it might have something to do with wine. Damn it.
Entirely possible.
What do you do? How do you structure your speaking gigs? How do you have a custom poster? I'm gonna go.
Speaking gigs. I don't listen on my website.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Well, fuck you.
I don't even write about them in blog posts, which I really should do.
High five for us talking and not being able to. Not being able to with me. I'm like, tell all my friends, you must blog.
I don't think
I don't really want to blog. I don't need any more business. I was like, I'm really busy.
Blog posts that I'm seeing
I do.
big about it.
I do all my
Yes.
I do all my best work for my clients.
I know, I do too. I spend
I
all
know
my
that I'm
time.
exhausted and I don't have any time to do good work for myself.
That's what I'm trying to do right now, but I'm like, how do I structure my titles? I don't know what to do my day. To do this type of thing for presentation.
I just put them on speaker deck and call it a day.
You ready, Brandon?
Well, I haven't been listing them in a page.
I'm gonna round everybody out.
OMG,
I'll give you 5
what
minutes.
is that?
Like, name.
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's on the list. It's on my list to convert my speaker list into a custom website.
Oh.
Which was so apropos today, right? Like that's my plan. So I want to put over custom websites. I should have. I went to
No one knows.
anyone want any wine? Who wants some wine?
Where do I get the class?
There's plastic cups in this.
Yeah, there's plastic cups.
And you can check it out.
No one's come out.
Who wants to give me a cheese? Hello, how's it going? I'm good. Good to see you. I feel like it's you. Yeah, I know, right? I'm new to it. But I don't know. I think we can see each other. I think I was everywhere. Really? It's just a water cooler. Yeah. We literally hang out every week. So cool.
What is all that weird stuff that WP engine puts in your WP config file? Have you noticed that?
It's all WP engines.
Is that just like your salt stuff?
Which one? This one?
Like the localized manhood? No, not the salt, but like all like WPE cluster type. Cluster
Yeah, it's all internal stuff.
Cool. I migrated and I'm like, what is all this nonsense here? It's crazy.
How's everybody doing? Everybody stoked?
Super.
Like, man.
Okay, great, thanks. Yeah?
Good.
Oh, earlier? Gravity force 1.7 researchers presented on that.
I can't be perfect, but I'm pretty sure that I've told customers.
Elizabeth presented on
You can just put a tag on it.
Ugh.
You can fill it up. So I'm pretty sure I've misled people. Like, at least 2 or 3. I was 90% sure. Wouldn't work. And I'm just like, because the default is
Yeah, it was a real jam. I was so defiant.
Here's my card.
One time I was doing that and I had, it was in subversion. You know?
Alright, we're gonna,
It's like, no, I was using Smart Templates. Smart Templates, we got the option turned on and captioned the whole.
Oh, yes.
I had to regenerate the entire website.
Oh,
with
no.
captions, Smart Templates. It was really terrible. You know, RM-RF star.
You know, like 2 or 3, I was thinking, like however long you want it. It's all good. We get a Laffy Taffy on this thing, or what? We good?
Yeah.
Hey Brandon, do you have that thing installed that makes the color of your screen change during the day?
Yeah, is it
That's
jacked
why it's
up?
like brown.
Yeah, but it was weird because it was messing up somebody's screen or whatever last time. He had to quit it. So.
It happened on my iPhone.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
it changes it, yeah. Dude, it totally screws with you because you'll be in the middle. It's like 5:59, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
what
mine.
time
I have
is
mine
it?
set so it goes over an hour.
Oh,
So
okay.
it like I don't even notice it. Oh, look how bright that is.
Oh my goodness.
So different.
what would you do?
Oh, yeah, that's taking a thin lines. Kind of goes gray.
Yeah, like turns brown. It does it based on the day, like it kind of like fades in and out, gets
It's saving your display and your eyes.
Yeah.
I run a team of programmers,
Yeah.
and so once a year we get all of them together in one place, spend 2 weeks writing code. So I pull them together, and I'm like, hey, I want Remus to show us all his code, right? So far, you plug in a projector, and it shows up the front. Every one of them uses basically like Visual Studio, right? So Visual Studio is always thinking the same, right? His code's up, it's all black. The text is like purple. It's like, and here we go.
That's awesome.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright.
Ooh, that's bright.
Brandon's up.
Brandon! Do some cowboy code?
Oh yeah, you bet.
Do it in the post editor. Or the editor.
No, we're not gonna go there.
You're not that great.
No. Okay, so for those who don't know me, I am Brandon Dove. I am a lumberjack by trade, and a WordPress developer by. We've been kind of going back and forth over on the Facebook group about how to use Git with WP Engine. Does everybody know who hosts the WP Engine? Anybody? Yes. Woo! All right, good. Some people. Okay, good. How many are you using Git?
Let me tell you why I brought it up in the first place, because I have a client that's on WP Engine and wanted us to start posting his stuff on WP Engine for him.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know if Git really works on WP Engine.
Oh, it totally works. I'm gonna show you. Okay, so for those who don't know what Git is, it's source control. It allows you to kind of like not cowboy code, keep versions of files.
So how do you believe
It allows you to cowboy code more effectively.
Yeah, right.
Jason Tucker depart.
So What I was going to demonstrate is how to use a feature that they have on WP Engine called Git Push. Git on WP Engine works a little differently than Git just in the wild.
Everything on WP Engine works a little differently.
A little better, I think, actually. Just saying. I was trying to stretch it out for debate. Basically, the way that Git works is each person who's using a Git repository, which is just a collection of files, has an entire history of that Git repository with them. So if I have one, Steve's got one, Steve's got one, Chris has one, everybody has one. We all have a full copy of the site. The way it usually works is there's sort of one that lives out there in the internet, in the cloud, if you want to call it that somewhere, that everybody can kind of push and pull from. So if I push some of my changes up, Steve can then pull them down, and Chris can pull them down, and everybody can have the same copy again. They can push up, I can pull down. So everybody has access to the centralized repository. With WP Engine, you cannot pull code. So there's this sort of struggle of what happens if I update something on WP Engine, I can't get that anywhere. So the way that we manage that is that we don't allow updates at all within WP Engine, period. So we turn everything into a read-only file system, which means that you can't update plugins, you can't update code, you can't update core, you can't update themes. You cannot edit code on WP Engine. This works actually pretty well because then we can manage, it actually works better I think in most cases, because if a client's in there and he's updating plugins or whatever, that can lead to breakage and phone calls and a bad day. So what we do is, regularly we go through our sites locally and make sure that all the plugins are up to date, and commit that code locally, then push up the WP Engine. But because it's not just myself, I need to make sure that my business partner Jeff can go in and update code as well. I don't want to do it all myself. So what we have is a repository that's out there. We use Bitbucket for our private repositories. So all of our development takes place here on Bitbucket and locally on our development machines. So here you see, I've got some commits in here. This isn't for a particular site of the client, it's just something that I set up really quick so that we can do this demo. So what I've got is Bitbucket has all the code. It has two branches, one for the master branch, which we use for production, and one for staging, which is where all of our development takes place. Another feature that WP Engine has is the ability to have a one-click staging area. Sorry. So essentially, you can take whatever's on your live site and copy that quickly over to a staging site, so you can work there. It's sort of like a half cowboy coding thing.
It's not cowboy coding at all.
No?
No.
Okay.
It's on staging.
Okay, according to Chris, it's not cowboy coding. So what we do is we have two branches within Git, which one is sort of heavily in development, and one is a stable version that anybody can push to the live server. Have we lost everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. Where did I lose you? Way back?
Oh no, I'm just following.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of show you what our process is. So this is the production URL, wpgolf.wpengine.com. Our staging environment is wpgolf.staging.wpengine.com. This is a convention that WP Engine has set up. So these two sites are independent of each other. Once you clone from your production server to the staging site, they're completely out of sync. They don't talk to each other at all. And they're completely separate websites as far as you're concerned. And then the third one I have is wpgolf.local. This lives on my laptop and is not accessible from anywhere else in the world. So this is where I do all of my work. Right now I use Tower for my Git management. You'll see that I have 2 branches here locally. I've got staging and master. I'm currently working in master. I've got a Bitbucket remote, with both branches there, so either one, Jeff or I can copy those and pull them out. I've got WP Engine production and WP Engine staging. All these basically are different endpoints where I can push code to. So Bitbucket being sort of our, just everybody can access that. Production is obviously going right to the live server, and staging is going to our development server so the client can see the changes. Okay, so right now I've got a clean directory. I have no changes. So I noticed that in my local install I've got a plugin update. So I'm just going to go in as if I was managing the site and go ahead and update this. Actually, this doesn't exist locally, so I'm going to remove it. Hang on. One of the things that WP Engine also has is a set of must-use plugins. One being sort of their management of caching and things like that. They also require you to have strong passwords, so that's in there, and the limit login attempts. All these they come down with the repo, but you're not actually allowed to track them in your repository because you're not allowed to update those. So I'm just going to delete those. I already have this set up to ignore those. Actually, let me show you. I start off with WP Engine's ignore list, which is huge. So I figure it's going to capture everything. So they I love that song. It's a lolcat. That was good. Okay. Thank you for the dance break. I needed that. Okay. So these are all the things that WP Engine basically doesn't want you to track, all these things, because some of them are big files, like uploads, things like that. And then this is what basically what you have to track or untrack as yourself. The WP config file, they actually in the download of their site, they bring a mysql.sql file so you can import that locally. And basically all the MU plugins that they use by default, you're not allowed to track any of those in your repository. So, like I said, let me go back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and update this plugin again. It won't ask me this something. So it's going ahead and doing it, and great. So I'm going to return to WordPress updates. This is local, I'm sorry. I wish I had. Okay. So this is my local version. Again, I'm going to look at it now. Because I updated that plugin, now all these files have changed. Holy smokes. All these files have changed in this plugin. So what I want to do is I basically select all the files. It's behind, sorry. Okay, there we go. It's going to basically stage all these files, and I can give it a commit message. Updated types plugin. And then I go ahead and commit that. And it's going to just confirm this is what you want to have your commit message be. I say heck yes, that's awesome. And then I push to Bitbucket. So this way, if I'm making a series of changes, at least they're all there on Bitbucket, so if Jeff's using it, he can see it there. So when this is done, I'll refresh Bitbucket so you can see the changes there. So now in the overview, you'll now see that I updated the types plugin. There's the commit right there. So I haven't pushed anything to WP Engine yet. So if I go and I look at
but this is, just so we're clear, Bitbucket is where you and Jeff are both hitting, like, the button. This is where you can push changes to Bitbucket. So if I go and I look at,
This is Bitbucket. So this is my local version. Again, I'm going to look at it now. Because I updated that plugin, now all these files have changed. Holy smokes.
you're both pushing and pulling code back and forth there. So that's where Jeff would look to see if he has to make sure he gets the latest update.
Correct. So now if I'm looking at the live site. I know. Okay, so I'm on, this is the production site, wpgolf.wpengine.com, and if I hit the updates page, I'll still see, I still have this plugin update because I haven't pushed it there yet. So if I take this master and I push it to WP Engine production, it's again, it's sort of just pushing those commits to another place.
You don't go to staging first?
This one I did in production, so I'm pushing that to production. I'll show you that step next. I'm getting there.
Yeah, because that is Cowboy right there.
No way, I did it locally first. Cowboy. That's like riding a pony at the circus or something.
That's mule right there. That was so
Okay, so it's done pushing, and now when I refresh the WP Engine site, when I refresh, the plugin has been pushed there.
Well done.
Okay, so now I might want to say, like, for example, say I want to create a new theme for my site. So what I actually want to do now is I want to switch from my production branch to my staging branch. So this is basically going to, if you're not familiar with Git, it basically just changes the files so that I'm now looking at this branch. So what you're going to first notice is that when I go locally here, that plugin has not been updated, right? So what I want to do is I want to make sure before I start, I'm going to merge the master branch with the staging branch. And what that's going to do is pull in every commit that I haven't done, or I've every commit that I've done to the master branch is now going to be done to the staging branch. Actually, hold on. Okay, what this is telling me is that I'm actually ahead of the staging branch. So I do now have my local staging. What is it? My local staging should now have that plugin updated. It does. Okay, so I've merged that plugin into my staging branch now. So now I basically have a staging branch that's up to date with the main master branch. So now that I have that set up, I'm going to go ahead and create a new theme folder. And so I've got basically all I need to do to change this is change that.
Awesome. This theme is called Awesome.
Super awesome. Okay, so now when I'm looking locally, I'm going to have a new theme that's called Awesome. Because it is, really.
Awesome.
And what I'll see when I look in my staging branch is I have this new folder called Awesome.
Awesome.
That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and check this in. And I'm going to say, to show you I have nothing up my sleeve. This is on the staging site, the one that's on WP Engine. There's no awesome theme there. And there's also no awesome theme in the production, the live site. So now that I've added that, awesome theme. It really is. Okay, so I've got those commits. And now I'm going to push to the staging site here. It's going to do its magic.
You didn't go to Bitbucket first?
It doesn't really matter.
So you're just...
It's completely inconsistent.
I think we need another cover.
I'm stretching it out. I gotta give you guys things to say. Okay, just for the sake of fun, I'm pushing it to Bitbucket.
So I might be jumping ahead, but if you push master to staging, does that switch branches?
If I push master to staging, I think you might explode the whole universe. I don't know. Okay, so all that's been taken care of. So now if I look at Bitbucket, I've got in the source here staging, I have my awesome theme, so that's there. If I look in the live production site, I have no awesome theme. And if I look at the staging site, I now have an awesome theme. So I have this ability to sort of work in different branches locally and push one to production and one to staging. And when I'm ready, so I've got that awesome theme, and I think it looks pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and check out the master branch and merge in all my changes from staging. I'm going to go ahead and push that to Bitbucket so that Jeff knows.
So there's no way to switch a branch through to WP Engine?
No, I don't think so.
You don't have those command line options?
No, you do not have command line options. I'm pushing this master branch to production. Excuse me.
So Brandon,
yes.
Bitbucket is for sharing with your team.
Yeah, Bitbucket is basically it's essentially a way for people to collaborate on code. It's a lot like GitHub does the same thing. We were doing this with GitHub before we were using Bitbucket.
Why did this put something in GitHub?
Because Bitbucket does it per users. They charge per users, and for Jeff and I, there's only 2 of us, so we'll never go over the max, and we'll have unlimited private repos. But GitHub charges for repos versus users. So for us, it just makes more sense to do Bitbucket. So I push that to production, and now when I refresh this, how many questions?
And then does every WP Engine account come with a staging account, or is that something you have to?
It does.
It comes with staging.
It comes with the option for staging.
Oh, the option staging.
So, and I can show you that here. So, in the way that I initially set this up was, it just comes with this production site. But underneath the WP Engine, this is part of their plugin. There's this staging area. And so you basically have this one-click button to click. Basically, it takes everything that's in live and pushes it over to staging.
Oh, so there's no other administration you can do to have them set it up?
Nope. You literally click this button and it emails you, depending on how big your site is.
But if you want to be able to access Git, you do need to talk to them to be able to set up Git.
Git push is not set up by default. You have to request it.
But the staging allows you to edit or interact with code. Because one of the realities is, when you work on your local environment is not WP Engine. It's also not any of the other hosting providers. And so when you work on staging, if you go and edit something in staging, you press this button, it'll move everything over to staging.
Not just move, but it will wipe it completely out. If you have a staging site with lots of new code on that doesn't exist anywhere else,
it will wipe it completely. It just does a full, which is awesome, by the way, because you can run crazy tests.
Yeah.
And then just come over here, click the button.
Nope, that didn't work.
Yeah. And just start again, which I do several times a day. But once you push it over there, when you're making any tests, any adjustments, anything, new plugins or whatever, you want to know not just how does it work on my local environment, you want to know how's it going to work on my hosting environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the host has all their special, we did this, we did. So this staging is awesome for that. because you can test it all out there and then say, okay, now that I know it's good, you can use Git to push it. The normal logical progression might be from your desk to Bitbucket staging, from Bitbucket staging to WP Engine staging, test in WP Engine staging to make sure it's really working there, and then from your local repository out to production, right? And that way you know, okay, I'm good.
There are some kind of weird things in WP Engine's staging environment. So if you have an image that's been on there for like 3 years, that image doesn't get brought over, and you end up with broken images.
Yeah.
During your staging process.
Yeah, we run into that too. I mean, that plugin that I mentioned the other day really helps with that. I forget what the name of it. You remember what the name of it was?
No, I don't. I didn't get a chance to start digging into it either.
Was it just because of the date? It was like...
No, it just doesn't pull, because it's just a lot of assets to move back and forth. They just, like, after a certain point, they're like, well, whatever.
And all this stuff is on, well, if you have an account that has a CDN, those images would be pulled from the server environment. It'd be pulled from the CDN directly. So yeah, to move that stuff around, like Brandon said, it's not economical. But being able to do just like the last X number of days, months, years, whatever their criteria is, seems to work out pretty well. But I have clients who are like, well, you showed me something on staging, and I'm looking at it, and there's a whole bunch of broken images on here. Why? I'm like, well, because you're referencing the image that you uploaded 2 years ago. So as long as you're aware of that, then you're okay.
So if you have to call to get it set up on the WP Engine, is it feasible to call to get the WP Engine to change the branch?
Sorry, say that again?
If you have to call to get set up on the WP Engine,
GET. Right, got it.
is it feasible then to call to get them to switch branches of Git? Like, let's say, go back to your tower. Could you clone master into WP staging, but push like staging underscore?
I don't know, let's try.
We're gonna try.
Huh?
I might break the internet, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Just go double check your WP Engine site after this.
Push it onto WP staging, but change the name of the remote branch to...
They will not.
I'm gonna get there once I push it up there. See what happens. Because they're basically...
So they have feedback that says you can't do that.
I don't know, we'll see.
So right
I've never done this before.
Right now it's not actually copying files, they're just getting your address.
Okay, so now I have 2 branches over there.
So my question is, could you then call WP Engine, because I think this speaks to what Steve's asking, and
Right.
say, yo,
Let's switch it.
Yo.
I have this other branch running on that.
I have no idea what that would do. I mean, it doesn't indicate that one of them is the head branch at all. So.
And the other thing this doesn't do is you can't pull at all. I've been hearing rumors about stuff that you should be able to, at some point, be able to, no. Staging to production.
Okay, so I have that, but it's evil. It's evil.
You're not allowed to talk about it. It's like first rule of being in the beta club is you're not allowed to talk about it.
What are you talking about?
This was like 6 months ago, Brandon and I were messing with this.
I know, but they put a gag rule on it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't hear
Gag what?
anything.
Are we talking about what?
But, okay, so let's say that's possibly feasible.
Honestly, so what this remote, so the WP Engine production and staging endpoints are bare repositories, so they have no code in them. That's why you can't pull from them, right? So, I know, yeah, where's my Snickers? Basically what it does is when you push something to it, all it does is run some deployment commands and pushes it to their app servers.
Sure.
So it probably is pushing, whatever you push last is probably what is in production right now. I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't know.
Steve, I think about your comments.
Maybe.
To your question.
Let's delete these branches and see what happens.
All right, Brandon's gonna
Oh, I can't delete remote branches.
Yeah, you just deleted the internet.
So, sorry about that.
We can all go home now because we no longer have jobs.
Is there any other questions that I probably can't answer? No?
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's how it works.
think that's it for tonight. I think there was a couple announcements that we wanted to make. Do you want to talk about what you need?
Yeah.
Go for it.
My name is Roger, and I work in hospice, and I do a lot of hospice web pages, and it seems like I do one, and then I get orders for a bunch more. And just interested in maybe talking to some of you guys, or get some cards or whatever. And these hospice web pages are very, very unique, and we tell the life story of each person. And we upload their movie. We do a very nice cinematic movie. We have a place for the tribute wall, links with Facebook, and about 350 social media networks. And I'm switching from some Joomla back to WordPress. And, anyway, I've worked setting up hospices all over. Just interested if some of you guys wanted to, I want to set up some templates that I can do quick and get done, and be hospice based. That's what it would be. I write a lot of the content, so that's the thing I know well. So anyway, some of you have some cards. You want to give me one and see if you have an interest in talking and some things like that. Okay?
Cool. Any last announcements before we end? What?
Sorry.
We drink both during and after the meeting, so we will network for a little bit and then reconvene over at the House of Brews in Huntington Harbor. If you need directions, let me know. And otherwise, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the general meetup. I think that's it. Cool.
I don't think anybody should sit next to Say.
Ever. I'm contagious. It's a problem. Not like that injection.